What's up? We're in here. We're going to bench press. We're going to talk about Psalm 47. How do you like my new lighting setup? I like it. It's pretty cool. Tell me what you think. Because there's no power. So I just have a battery light thing right over there. You can probably tell. But it's nice. I can move it more than the other light bulb on a cord. Because this has no cord. It's pretty great. So yeah, we're gonna just do some warm-ups here, and then we're gonna get into the word and some heavier benching. It's another psalm that's really positive, really, good reminders in this one, especially if you're feeling, you know, worried about the way things are going in the world in particular. This is a good one. Don't want to miss it. And yeah, hopefully I have this thing charged up because sometimes I forget and I don't have a way of knowing how long it's gonna last. So that's all. It's just Russian roulette with this thing. Wow. Oh, I know why that hurts. Played. Can't believe I'm admitting this. I played church softball last night. Not my favorite thing. So I might do a few more of those at that weight. Gotta get the blood flowing, get the stiffness out. So Psalm 47. Like I said, it's really, really good one if you're, bummed out. It's another one that's written by the music family of the Levites. I think it's kind of cool how no one person gets the credit. It's just this part of this tribe. It's their job, write music. So hopefully everyone in that part of that family liked music because that's how you were. That's how you're raised. That's what you're born to do. So it says, "Oh, clap your hands, all you people! Shout unto God with the voice of triumph." So you're already seeing it, right? Triumph, winning, victory, that sort of thing. Clapping, the excitement of it all. And then there's throw out a word in verse 2 that we got to remember. Hey, some issues with the way we understand and define words now versus when King James was written. We also have to go back to the Hebrew. What did these words mean to them? How are they using them? So, that's why you got to study your Bible, man. You can't read something and assume always that a word is the same, especially if you're one of those people that's got to have the King James. Fine, but that just means you're going to have to study a lot harder because here's an English word we only use in a negative sense now. But here in Psalm 47, it's in the positive sense, which we never use this word. And you look it up, sure enough, it has a positive side to it as well as the negative side that we're used to hearing. Because it says, "For the Lord Most High is terrible." So we almost equate terrible with bad. And the word has way more meaning to it, way more depth to it, which is why it's a whole different word than bad. If it meant bad, it could have just said the Lord. Most High is bad. Now, again, that's a great example, right? We use the word bad nowadays to mean good, even though that's not what it means. It's literally the opposite. Now, in that case, you're taking a word and just completely destroying its definition, turning it into a slang for good. Say somebody's if they're good at sports, that dude's a bad man. He can bench press 400 pounds, that sort of thing. Well, the word terrible actually could go either way. In its definition, it's just what you're pairing it with. How you're using it will determine if you mean it in a good or a bad way, because it's more about the awe and the fear and the magnitude of what's going on. So when we'll use a word, we'll say a terrible car wreck. But then if something big that's good happens, we wouldn't use it to describe that. But just think of the awe and the fear of the Lord that we should have. That's what it means. And why does it say this? He is a great king over all the earth. So he's a fierce king. He's a honor. We should honor something that big, somebody that big. So I don't know why I'm harping on this word so much. I just think it's interesting. But it says, "He shall subdue the people under us and the nations under our feet. He shall choose our inheritance for us, the excellency of Jacob whom he loved." Selah. So think about this whole set, these first 4 verses. Look what God, the King, who's big, awesome, powerful, or as the King James puts it, terrible. Look at what he's doing. This is really just describing what he's doing. Subduing, choosing our inheritance, ruling, king over the earth, not just, hey, there's this guy who's king over there. No, this is the whole earth, all the earth. So, think about that while I do another set of this. Yeah, that felt way lighter. It's the exact same weight, but felt super light. That's good. Now we'll add something. Put a 25 on each side. Roll with it. Oh yeah. Cool thing about this lighting setup, I don't know how to make it sound all official. I can just kind of spotlight whatever I'm doing in here. I like that. I like that a lot. It makes me happy. Just move it, spotlight one area at a time. Yeah. So, what's next? God is making his rule, his power. He's taking over the world, which I guess that would bother some people, but it shouldn't. God has gone up with a shout. Okay, so we're back to that. Okay, like verse 1. So he's got the first set of verses, then you got the word Selah. Then it almost like starts over in a sense, because it said at the beginning, "Clap your hands, all you people, shout unto God with a voice of triumph." The Lord is gone up, or sorry, God is gone up with a shout, the Lord with the sound of the trumpet. So now we're back to celebrating. Because, you sort of, at first you're like, well, what are we celebrating? Then verse 2, 3, and 4 kind of tell us what's going on. This is why we're celebrating. So now it gets back to the celebrating part. Sing praises unto God. Sing praises. Sing praises unto our King. Sing praises. Then it reiterates, for God is the King of all the earth. Sing ye praises with understanding. So I love it. For my understanding, like, get it? He's King of the earth. Do you understand what I am saying? We need to celebrate that. And we need to be reminded of that constantly, because what we see around us is not that sometimes. With the visual, what's going on in the physical world and what we see versus what's going on in the spiritual world. And we don't see it, and so we get distracted by what we do see, and it seems bad. It seems gloomy. It seems terrible. See what I did there? And we're thinking, man, what are we doing? How is this ever going to work out? God's king of the earth, man. It's going to work out. It's already done. He sits on the cross and says it's finished. All the time this is what's happened. This is what's going to happen. This is what's happening. We don't need to keep getting distracted by what we see. It's really about what we don't see. God reigneth over the heathen. Okay, see? Just in case you're wondering, the whole earth, all the earth, he specifically targets the one thing that we always are bothered by. What about those people over there? Yes, God reigneth over the heathen. God sitteth upon the throne of his holiness. Holiness. You got to be reminded of that. That's important. The princes of the people are gathered together, even the people of the God of Abraham. So everybody. So he's mentioned, verse 8, he reigneth over the heathen specifically. Now here he's saying, the princes of the people, even the people of the God of Abraham. So no one's getting left out. We're reminded on the one hand, he even rules over these bad people. Then over here, he's reminding us, everyone, yes, even God's people are coming together before the throne. It's kind of an interesting picture, because I don't know what these people were thinking as they wrote this song, but you're kind of thinking about what's going to happen. And they're talking about it in like the first person, or like the present tense, I should say, not first person. They're talking about it present tense, like now. But this was way before Jesus even ever came. But it's like now. They're in that present tense with it. But in a sense, we should understand this maybe even as a future for us, the second coming, end of times kind of thing. Everyone's coming before the throne. He's sitting on the throne of his holiness. Everyone's gathered there. For the shields of the earth belong unto God. He is greatly exalted. That's interesting. The shields of the earth. Like, God protects the earth. Again, spiritually, we don't see all the things that God is doing to protect. Because the world's under attack from who's really, not Russia, not China, not whoever, Venezuela. No, God knows and protects us from what the devil's trying to do. His shields that he protects us with are spiritual, and they're powerful, and they're going to prevent what the devil really wants to happen from happening. So think about that. Well, I'm going to keep warming up here, because it's that day. Oh, look, the microphone still works. So what do you think about that? Psalm 47. I think it's a pretty good song. I think when you take the time to look at each one individually and think about especially the more poetic ones like that one that are like prophetic and poetic all at the same time, you kind of think, wow, these guys were really onto something. God was really telling them things. It's deep and important. It's not like the book of Psalms is 150 praise and worship songs, even though that's kind of what they were. At the same time, man, that's some deep stuff to think about. And the fact that they were conscious of the fact of end times, of a Messiah, of, the spiritual battle going on. I mean, we don't give them enough credit sometimes back then for that kind of stuff. We tend to, well, unfortunately, what we tend to do nowadays is look at whatever a bunch of atheist scientists tell us about what they believed and let the ungodly world define for us what the godly world looked like back then. And it's just not a very good way to do it. Not very accurate. Because of course they don't believe. They've got an agenda. They want to tear down our faith. They're definitely not trying to build it up. So kind of stands to reason they're going to give us a lot of misinformation. Or you know what we can do? Well, duh. Read the Bible. And then you'll see it. It's right there. Because I wonder how many people who go to church don't ever read their Bible. Or don't ever read the Old Testament specifically. Because I've heard some scientists go on television and say some pretty whack stuff. And obviously they get away with it because they are on TV saying this kind of stuff. And it's like, man, people just read their Bible. It wouldn't, what you're saying would be just so laughable. But no, we don't. We just watch the TV and like, wow, I never knew that. Well, you should have known it because it's in the Bible. So shame on you sometimes. So anyway, I'm going to mess around with this for a while. That wraps up Psalm 47. Stay encouraged. It's not the world you see. It's the victory that's already won in the world you don't see. And one day, this world that we see is going to be replaced with a better one. So go out and have a good day if you want to.